My name is John Passfield, and the title of this reading will be John and the Universan, Video 7, A Visit to the Great Wall of China, Part 2. So here is my book, John and the Universan, Nothing is Known. Two entities, I'm calling them entities because they could be two spacemen or two humans, or it could be one spaceman and one human in a beat-up old spaceship. Here's an explanation. On the way to visit Stonehenge, John wonders whether his English ancestors might have been involved in the building of that mysterious megalith. Suddenly, he finds himself being held prisoner in a spaceship by an alien who tells John that despite government secrecy on his home planet, he has heard rumors that over many centuries, his own ancestors have taken part in a series of major building projects here on Earth. John and the alien embark on a tour of ancient sites, including Stonehenge, in search of their common ancestral roots. So they want to find out whether they both have ancestral roots in the building of Stonehenge. But before they get there, since his rocket ship has already been programmed back on his home planet, they visit other megaliths. And here we are at the Great Wall of China, the second part of that tour. In part one of the visit to the Great Wall of China, the tour guide mentions that the Great Wall can be seen from outer space. Presumably, the alien was able to see the wall as he was approaching his landing on the planet Earth. As we read part two of the visit to the Great Wall of China, we can ask ourselves whether the alien, who asked John to call him the Universan in order to maintain secrecy about his own planet, gets any closer to answering the question that he has come to Earth to answer. What's the question? Who built the great megaliths of the planet Earth? He's here to find out. Okay, let's read from chapter 4, page 25, the second half of the visit of John and the Universan to the Great Wall of China. Here we are. Our tour today begins here at Samate West, the tour guide is telling us. We'll have a choice of lunch at a local farmer's restaurant after the hiking, and then I will drive you back to the city. This section offers what most people consider to be the finest hiking anywhere on the Great Wall of China. It's extremely photogenic, with over 15 watchtowers and steep gradients that give constantly changing perspectives, which are continuously opening out into extensive and expansive views. There's an endlessly fascinating variety of architecture in the watchtowers here. Some of them have 2 stories, while many others have 3, no doubt in response to the need for the soldiers to be alert for hostile approach. Some of the guard towers have flat roofs, while others have rounded profiles, and others again are somewhat pitched with upturned eaves. This section of the wall has much by way of contrast to offer, as some parts are intact, some are in ruin, and some have been repaired. Everyone becomes an excellent photographer here. There are entrance fees for the 2 sections, and I have your tickets here. In addition to lunch, we will have unlimited bottled water and will enjoy occasional snacks at appropriate stops along the way. The hike will take about 3 hours from start to completion. Now, tipping is not mandatory, as you've been told, but will be appreciated if you are so inclined. I'm hoping to start my apprenticeship in the fall. I will have your hiking at the Great Wall of China certificates ready at that time. Over lunch, which he declines to eat, though he examines every item on the plate with his human eyes, poking at it with his chopsticks from time to time, the Universan fills me in on why he has brought me here. They, the elites of my planet, put all of the planet's resources into space travel, John. They had depleted our resources to the point where the planet was about to be a death trap, no longer viable, uninhabitable, as you would say. They didn't worry about the downtrodden. They were thinking of themselves. They were looking for a planet of escape, to build a colony there and leave my ancestors of the time, the exploited, the plundered, the essential denied, to live on a planet that would soon be as barren as Mars. Of course, the mystery of the Great Wall, as some of you have indicated by your comments, says our guide on the ride back to the city, is how the rulers of that time were able to organize the building program so efficiently, considering the vast number of workers who, despite the need for them to maintain the rice paddies and other farming routines, were required to labor so intensively on the wall. So that was the third section of the tour, the first half of what I'm reading today. Here's the last section of the tour. The spaceships that the elites had developed were sent in probes to other space places, other livable lands, other venues. They discovered not a habitable planet for our elites to move to, John, but an inhabited one. And that planet, John, was where we are now standing, the planet Earth. They made a deal of which I'm surprised you have never heard. At least I don't see it in your memory bank at all. So the alien is able to read John's mind, and he finds nothing in there except trivia about all these monoliths. Like, who built them? He reads John's mind, an Earthling's mind, and he sees nothing. Now, there's no indication as to what the alien, who calls himself the Universan, is thinking as he listens to the tour guide talk about the Great Wall of China. We readers can wonder what the alien would be thinking as he hears that. Now here, I'm just repeating what was said. The Great Wall is extremely photogenic. The watchtowers and gradients gives constantly changing perspectives. There are extensive and expansive views of the country surrounding the wall. There's an endlessly fascinating variety of architecture in the watchtowers that the tour guide is speculating about the reason why the towers vary in height. He's speculating, he doesn't know. And some of the towers are intact, some are in ruins, and some have been repaired. And some of the views from the towers are restricted to those who are able and willing to pay. And finally, that many tourists ask him how the rulers of that time were able to organize the building program so efficiently. So that's the information that the alien and John are getting from the guide. So taking into account what the alien knew about the building of such megaliths as the Great Wall of China, based on the rumors which swirled around in its own planet, and what the alien's hearing as he listens to a human tour guide talk about one of the great megaliths of the Earth, we can ask ourselves whether the alien, the Universan, has more knowledge of the Great Wall of China now than he had when he was approaching in his beat-up old 1950 spaceship, the planet Earth. So has he really learned anything about the Great Wall of China, and generally speaking about the megaliths and how they were built and who built them? So here again is my book, John and the Universan, Nothing is Known. It's available on Amazon if you'd like to look there for more information. My publisher's website is Rocks Mills Press. There's more information there. On my website, johnpassfield.ca, there's a planning notebook and a reflective journal, 2 books that I wrote as I was planning, writing, and polishing this short novel or novella. So have a look there. They're available at johnpassfield.ca for free. You just click on the cover icon and you get to read the books. And lastly, I'll say thank you for watching this video.